Welcome to another edition of Escape Bites, mini-sodes, where we take a bite into crime. I'm Julie.
I'm Charity.
And today we're answering the question, who stole the cheese? So this is a fun new feature we're trying in which our behind-the-scenes graphics guru, Cara Beth, gives us a topic. And Charity and I find our own true crime stories to fit the topic. So listeners are welcome to weigh in on who tells the better story.
That's right.
Just because at
That's
escapepod.live. So all we got to go off
Facebook,
of
all the stuff.
Yeah.
Socials, yeah.
was who stole the cheese.
That's all she gave us.
That's all she gave us.
Yeah.
And it is kind of a worthy topic for a podcast that delves into true crime because get this, cheese is the most stolen food in the world. According to a Yahoo News article that came out just this spring.
Facts.
Right? It's so weird. So that article, again, a Yahoo News article says that Parmesan Reggiano,
Yeah,
I don't know, is especially popular among cheese thieves. It's estimated that more than $3 million worth was stolen in Italy every year, roughly.
Wow.
Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
A lot of cheese is stolen
Different culture.
via shoplifting, but in other cases, it's through elaborate heists, like trucks of cheese have been stolen. I'm like,
I hope they have a distribution system pretty quickly or that could get...
That's very true. So I will let you go first, ma'am.
All right, I'm going to die if we have the same story.
Ooh, do you think we do?
That'd suck, but then I get to go first, so I win? No.
Sure.
All right.
It'll be a really short episode.
All right. Mine is about a man.
Oh, no, mine's about a woman.
Okay, good.
There you go. We're good.
Christopher Pagano, infamously dubbed the Swiss cheese pervert.
Oh my.
Mm-hmm.
Yours might be more scandalous than mine is.
He was involved in a series of incidents in Philadelphia, PA, where he exposed himself to women and requested they perform sexual acts on him involving Swiss cheese. Or, conversely, because, you have to have options depending on, who you're talking to, requesting they watch him perform sexual acts on himself involving Swiss cheese. So Pagano was a 42-year-old married father of a 12-year-old girl at the time. He would target women by driving up to them, exposing himself, and soliciting sexual acts, always with Swiss cheese. His actions traumatized victims and drew widespread media attention due to the very bizarre nature of his cheese fetish. We're going to go through a quick timeline of his little case here.
That would draw media attention.
Yeah. So between 2006 and 2009, Pagano was arrested for soliciting sex workers to perform sexual acts involving cheese. This did not end there. He was not thwarted or daunted. January 2014, he allegedly committed multiple acts of indecent exposure and harassment in Philly's Mayfair neighborhood. He reportedly drove around, approached women, exposed himself, and asked them to pleasure him using the Swiss cheese. 3 victims initially reported incidents leading to public attention and the Swiss cheese pervert moniker. A manhunt ensued after a 4th victim came forward. Later, January 2014, Pagano turned himself into a Philadelphia police following a week-long manhunt. His surrender came after, can you imagine?
Can you imagine being the law enforcement officer on the case? Like, who are you looking for?
Swiss cheese. I'm in a high speed. I've got the pervert in my... Never mind. Okay.
Right?
So his surrender came after media coverage amplified the case and this 4th victim's report. He was arrested, initially faced 12 counts across 3 victims, 3 counts of stalking, indecent exposure, harassment, and open lewdness. The 4th victim's report added 8 more counts, stalking, indecent exposure, harassment, and open lewdness, bringing the total to 20 counts. He was released after posting 10% of a $90,000 bail. March of 2014, news outlets reported on the additional charges from the 4th victim, noting the case's escalation. The Philly DA's office confirmed the updated charges, emphasizing his use of cheese in the harassment. In June of that year, Pagano pleaded guilty to harassing 4 women in Philadelphia. He was sentenced to 8 years of probation and ordered to attend sex offender treatment. Additional conditions included a driving ban except for work, church, and medical appointments, and a prohibition on contacting his victims. No restrictions were placed on his cheese consumption. Yeah?
I think you might win.
Okay. Okay.
It's
So
I will say it is more interesting than my story, but also more disturbing.
it is disturbing. Could you
So,
imagine? So he was facing up to
no.
25 years if convicted at trial. So his plea deal significantly reduced his punishment. Now, quickly, the victims, summary of like some of the victim interactions. So there was a victim who thought quickly on her feet, and she snapped a photo of him on her cell phone
I don't want
during
that
an
photo.
encounter, capturing him half naked in his car,
I'm not going to drink.
holding what appeared to be Swiss cheese over his
What?
male bits. Okay.
What?
This image
the heck?
posted on a Facebook page went viral and was instrumental in finally identifying the guy.
Well,
Okay,
there's
so that's
that.
where he got it.
That's
so this
the silver
photo
lining.
evidence, key evidence in the case. Yeah, we've talked about. I don't want to go back into details. One woman said she was approached by the suspect. She was just sitting at a light at a busy intersection, minding her own business. That's when he propositioned her. He told me he liked to put Swiss cheese on his private area, she said. She's the one who snapped the video of him.
I can't. What the heck?
Yeah. According to a citation issued to him by another woman, he asked her, he said, I have a fetish when a girl sucks cheese off my... Will you do it? This landed him behind bars for 2 months, and he still did not learn his lesson. And then he'd go on to sex dating sites or dating sites and talk about these fetishes. And this was from an OkCupid profile.
Am I going to throw up when this
No,
is done?
this one's just
I'm
kind
not
of...
going to eat Swiss cheese for a
This
while. I'll
just
tell you
like
that much.
this just smacks to me of, you know how the young brain develops, and there sometimes when something happens
Yes.
at a critical moment, it
Yeah.
can completely contort
Yep.
or disrupt that. Okay, that's what I feel when I read this quote. Okay, so quote: I started to compare girls to cheese due to their milky complexions. Girls are soft, smooth feeling, and tend to like dairy products more. I don't know if that's true. That and typical advertising, always using a girl to advertise dairy products. So cheese is what I started to use as a replacement for having sex with girls. This is how he's rationalized it in his mind. Now he speaks after all of this finally. He says, I'm not denying that it happened. What I'm saying is how everything was handled was a crime. The police got involved after the media made a lot of noise about it. I consider that a civil rights violation. Being a jackass and doing inappropriate behavior is not criminal. It's not appropriate at all, but it's not criminal. If you're drunk and say, hey, do you want to blow me? They could say, get the hell out of here. That's happened. People thought it was funny. Being an asshole is not a crime. With the whole thing in the car, my genitals were partially covered by the cheese. But when the media got a hold of it and turned it into what they turned it into, the police had to react harshly, he added. I understand weirdness and kink sells and draws attention. Like the police are trying to sensationalize something.
Or the media.
Yeah.
I'm like,
Yeah.
dude, truth is stranger than fiction, and this is the perfect example.
Isn't this crazy? He said he's addressed a social anxiety disorder that triggered a fight or flight response, sometimes triggered by talking to women. Medication, therapy, meditation, all those things helped him discover better impulse control. And he likened battling those urges to being a drug addict. The reason I got over it, he said, is because I didn't want to hurt anyone. It's not a sex offender thing. It was an addiction. Inappropriate behavior was my rush. And then he also goes on to say
okay.
it's had a major impact on his life, obviously,
Sure.
and those of his family members. He said, my mother supported me, but I've been ostracized by other members of my family. I've lost job opportunities. I'm the person facing injustice because of how that story just blew up. And looking back, he regrets what happened to his family. He says, my wife can't go anywhere without getting harassed about it. My daughter can't go anywhere without getting harassed about it. People think it's all a big joke, but it isn't. Our lives have been destroyed because of all this attention. Yeah.
Well, and that's too bad. I mean, because there are
Other
people
victims,
who do far worse things than that. I think that's fair. But I do think it is criminal behavior, even if it's low level. Like, that is not okay.
I mean, solicitation.
Yes.
Yeah.
Children
Public
could see
exposure.
Children could see you. Like, that's, and women who really don't want to see that are
Yeah.
exposed. Like, no, it's not okay.
So, yeah, that's
Harassing members of your
Swiss cheese
family,
pervert.
also not okay. Fascinating.
Yeah.
It does. So my question would be, would he have stopped if it didn't get the negative
I
attention it
think
got?
he just was so, yeah,
Right?
it was that rush. Like it's that, it's just like, when Dr. Temeng was in studio talking about the dopamine hits from meth and like it's more and more. And like you have to do more and engage in more of that inappropriate behavior in his case to get that same amount of dopamine rush. So I personally think it was going to continue to escalate.
Right. Like it is an addiction. I'm not
Yeah.
saying, but that's an explanation, not an excuse.
Right.
And it doesn't forgive
Right.
the bad things that I would consider criminal.
Yeah.
Okay. Mine is not as disturbing. But it does ask, it will have some of the same questions at the end. So mine is about a serial criminal, serial as in repeat, not cereal the food. Although I'm going out on a limb and saying that she probably did steal cereal at some point as well. So Sarah Connor, now she would be 40, lives in a suburb of Doncaster, England. So we're going to the UK for this story.
Okay.
Several reports by UK media outlets and posts by the South Yorkshire police document her habit of having sticky fingers, grabbing and going without paying at stores in the area. She especially had a thing for one-stop stores. So it looks to me like a grocer/convenience store where you could even visit an ATM, mail packages. So one stop literally for all sorts of different errands you might run. And that's where many of these thefts occurred. So Sarah was arrested in the spring of 2024. So mine is much more recent. And pleaded guilty to multiple shoplifting offenses for stealing more than 550 pounds worth of goods. Woo. She was released on license on May 28th. According to Criminal Justice Hub UK, that means you're freed from prison before your sentence is complete.
On license, okay.
But you must stick to a set of rules for the rest of your sentence. On May 30th, just 2 days later, Connor was caught stealing 32 pounds worth of items, and they say more thefts followed. Yorkshire Live reported in June of 24 that Connor hit up one location 11 times in 8 days earlier that same month. Very bold. Stealing cans of vodka, jars of coffee, and cheese. Blocks of cheese. Fast forward to September of 24.
Vodka, coffee, cheese. Hey,
It's
that's
an
like
interesting combo.
got the bases covered.
You could throw a party with
You've
that.
got your protein, you have your caffeine, and you have your therapy.
Right.
So yeah, I think she's smart.
September of 24, she gets handed a CBO, or criminal behavior order, which I would liken to a no trespass order here in the States, banning her from entering any one-stop stores in that city. There was another retailer that was included in that CBO. In November, she violates that order. So according to the Stars article published November 28th, Connor has already been in prison twice this year for shoplifting offenses and is behind bars again after being handed a 3-month sentence by magistrates. So they quoted Sergeant Chris Rogers of the Doncaster South Neighborhood Policing Team, who said, "She will likely now spend Christmas behind bars, and I hope this stint in prison allows her to think about her crimes and the impact it has on innocent shop workers who should never have to deal with criminals like Connor in the workplace." That CBO, by the way, is supposed to be in place until September of 2027. What are the chances that she adheres to it? But this is what bothers me about this very cheesy story, okay? Because it's not about stealing, is it? Like, she clearly has other issues going on, and in none
That's what
of
I was just going to say, is that being addressed? Is the
none of the
addiction,
stories
the
reference that.
compulsion, the whatever being addressed? Yeah.
So it seems
like she cannot help herself.
She can't help herself. And it's like all of these things that are like she keeps getting caught, but yet she keeps doing it. So I will tell you from her picture, she looked much older than 40 or 39 at the time probably the mugshot was taken. So I would guess some mental health issues and probably some addiction issues.
Yeah.
But it's never addressed in any of the and the police statements that I read never address that probably something else is going on here. And so that's it. Kind of bothered me. I'm like, she's got issues and we're not getting to the root of anything. Like, these pieces of paper are not going to stop her from stealing cheese and all the other goodies in the future. That's that's my story. They were dramatically different.
Thanks, Cara Beth.
That was kind of fun.
That was fun.
So that's it for this Escape Bite. We'll see you again next time.
Bye, everybody.